Okay, this is class on grant money. It's out there if you look. And it can really make the difference between having a renter turn into a buyer. So everyone's familiar with Bucks County Housing Group? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
No? Okay. Bucks County Housing Group is the queen of Bucks County Housing Group is Sherry Pace. Very nice lady, loves her job, enjoys helping people. It's quite obvious. She's works very well with the realtors. If you have any questions, usually the best way to contact her is to email her. You can call her, but the best way to contact her is to email her, and at some point she'll either call you back or reply to your email. She's very busy, so if you do get her on the phone, you are blessed. Anyway, so Bucks County Housing Group is basically it's run by a nonprofit. Sometimes the funds that they have in this program, sometimes they run out, but they tend to be replenished quickly. Sometimes not quickly enough for us, but they tend to be replenished quickly. I don't know where the money comes from. It could come from heaven, I don't know. But the money is there. There are a few requirements. You have to have 6 months residency in Bucks County, and at least one of the adults in the house. And also continuous employment for a minimum of 1 year in Bucks County. That used to be 6 months. So it used to be 6 months of residency, 6 months of steady employment in Bucks County. Now they raised it to a year.
So they work in Philly but live in Bucks, that doesn't work.
No, they can live in Bucks as long as they live in Bucks County.
So they don't have to work in Bucks County.
They don't have to work in Bucks
Okay.
County. They have to have one or the other. Either.
So they can work in Bucks County and will live in Mercer County, and then they can move here and get the grant?
They can live in Mercer County, they can live in Delaware, but they have to work at least one continuous year in Bucks County. That's you. Yeah. He doesn't know the magnitude
Yeah,
of that, does
right.
he? So Dot qualifies. She lives in Jersey, but she works in Bucks County because she works with us, Joel.
So
We're
they
in
don't
Bucks
have to be
County.
W-2, they can be 1099?
Yes, she works in Bucks County. She works in
Nice
Keller
to meet you.
Williams. And residency requirement is waived if one or more of the adults is in active military service. So that's wonderful. So if you have someone that, a military person that is stationed, I don't know, maybe down at Fort Bragg, and they're moving back to the area, that would be waived. The requirements for residency and work. What?
And/or.
And/or, yes.
I have one question before you go any further.
Go ahead.
Grant money. Are you talking about grant money, or are you talking about money that gets paid back when eventually they sell the house?
The money will have to be paid back.
Right, so it's not really grant money, it's
Well,
interest-free loan.
Yeah, but I mean, you could live there your whole life and you don't have to pay
Oh,
back
I
this
see the
money.
benefits, it's just that she may be aware of a grant program that I'll talk about at some point when you're finished.
Okay, all right.
You pay it back if you sell the house
Yes,
under this program.
yes. There's also, so there are requirements, and again, you'll find that in the handouts. There are requirements for your income eligibility. With that, if you're above what their income eligibility is, there is a second loan. It's through PHFA, and that's a $6,000 loan, and that's $50 a month, no interest, and you pay that, I think, over like 10 years. But again, another great way to get that money, to purchase that home. Let's see. The purchase price may not exceed $261,000 for existing housing and $300,000 and 11,000 for new construction, so that's pretty darn good. Maximum price is one that is affordable to the income earned by a qualified home buyer. So they are going to have to, income verification, minimum of 2 years of income statements, and 1 month of recent pay stubs. Maximum value of assets, retirement assets, reserves, minimum of liquid assets, minimum of 1 month. And borrower's contribution. Borrower may be required to contribute a minimum of 3% of the purchase price, except for VA loans. And of course, we know VA loans are zeroed down. And it has to be an interest rate mortgage with a term of 15 years or longer.
And the 6,000, this grant,
The PHFA, yes.
goes towards closing costs, goes towards down payment?
It goes towards your closing cost. And it's all the same thing, reasonable customary non-recurring fees associated with obtaining a first loan, including but not limited to, your points, title insurance, appraisals, credit checks, all that good stuff. Combined debt to income ratio will not exceed 33 to 41 based on total household income regardless of who is on the loan. Escrow will be required for the payment of taxes and property insurance. So from that point on, it's kind of, you're looking at the same thing as a regular loan. 0% interest for the term of the loan. The loan will have no fixed term. However, it shall be due and payable the sooner of the sale of the property, the transfer of legal or equitable title to the property, or the taking of additional debt. So I assume if you take on, maybe if you get a home equity loan, if you get, if you refinance, then you would need to pay that back. The maximum limit should be $10,000. I've never had anyone. And I don't know if any of you have heard of anyone getting up to 10,000. I think the most I've had a client get might have been maybe about 3,000, something like that. I have had someone that was qualified for the this loan, but because they added the wife, their income increased, so they had to do the PHFA, and then they got that $6,000 where they paid $50 a month. And I think their income, their maximum income, I think is pretty generous for one person. You can't make over $56,500 for two, $64,300. So I think that's pretty generous. Let's see. But what you should do is, if you have a client, before you even go out and look, I would start them on that process of getting in touch with Sherry Pace and start that whole process. There is a 1 hour online webinar that they take, and then there's a 3 hour face-to-face with Sherry. 3 hours seems like a really long time out of your day, but it's really worth it, and it's really informative, and she's such a lovely person.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun, and again, it's very informative. You can learn a lot. So.
And you have to be mindful of the schedule so that, because it's not
Right.
frequent.
Right, exactly. I mean, it could be like every couple months. Again, you can direct them to go onto the website to learn about it. That's where they'll sign up. Usually what I do is I give them Sherry Pace's phone number. I give them her email address. I tell them to call, leave a message, and then follow it up right away with an email. She will get back to them. At that point, I send an email to Sherry Pace, just saying, hey, I sent over so-and-so, this is what I told them to do, please keep me updated. And she will keep you in the loop and tell you exactly where she is with everything with that particular client. And it's a great learning experience for them, even if they don't qualify. If they sit through that webinar, it's going to give them some tools as far as what they need to know in order to purchase even down the road.
The phone number that you have that's at the top here, the 598-3566, can we get a hold of Sherry there?
You should be able to.
Okay.
But again, like I said, usually the best way to get in touch with her is
Email.
email.
Okay.
And she will either call you back or she will email you, but that's probably the best way to get in touch with her that I found. Okay, let's go on to USDA loans. When I first heard USDA, I thought, well, that's how they inspect, like the meat and stuff. But of course, God bless our government. The United States Department of Agriculture, they have it's for rural, it's a hard word to say, rural development. And there is a direct loan and there's a guaranteed loan. I believe the guaranteed loan has the higher income level. With that particular program, it's 100% financing. And you would be, so basically what has to happen is you have to find a property that's in an eligible area. Eligible areas, believe it or not, are Newtown, Wrightstown, New
How
Hope,
do they
thank you.
determine that? I guess by the zoning and.
You
the
go on,
minimum?
I'll tell you what, I hate most websites, but the USDA website is filled with so much information and it really is user-friendly. Make sure there's a .gov at the end. If there's not a .gov at the end,
Right.
you're gonna go someplace and someone wants to sell you things.
How about Upper Meg?
So what you'll do, what is it?
Upper Meg?
It could be. It could be. I was amazed at the properties that do qualify under this program. But it's,
Upper Make Giz.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some
most
of them
Upper
are.
Make Giz. Some of it goes right through town, so too.
Some of them are. It's too, so their idea is in a rural area, they want to build this area up. Yes, I know, I was shocked too.
It's
So they want to build this area up, that could be a great place for you to look.
Wow.
So what you do is you go to the website and they have an eligibility, property eligibility, and that's where you would start your search. You just put in whatever address it is, and it'll tell you if that property is eligible under USDA rules. Also with that, they have another loan on there, interest-free. So generally, these properties have on-site well, on-site septic. They have zero interest loans there to, if you need to, if your well's bad or septic's bad, that you can borrow money, interest-free, to make those repairs, because you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Is it just USDA.gov?
USDA.gov, yeah. So there's the direct loan, there is, it's also known as the 502 Direct Loan Program, and this program assists low to very low income applicants. Let's see, payment assistance is a type of subsidy that reduces the mortgage payment for a short time. The amount of assistance is determined by the adjusted family income. Then there's also the guaranteed loan, and that is for, they say low to medium income applicants, but it's quite generous. Let's see.
Oh, sounds complicated.
It's not, I'm telling you, it is not, it is not, it is not. If you don't, so I know that Summit is familiar and they do these USDA loans. I'm not sure if Carmela does, you can ask her if she does. If not, you can call them and they can give you a list of who, who is able to finance these loans. If you have any questions, you can call whoever is the director of our area. The director of our area, it's a huge area. I've spoken to her a few times. Again, I don't know her. I forget her name. It's probably been about a year and a half since I spoke with her. Very friendly, a lot of information. It's not, you're not bothering them. Let's see. So it says, what is the interest rate and payback period? Fixed interest rate based on current market rates at loan approval or loan closing, whichever is lower. Interest rate when modified by payment assistance can be as low as 1%, up to 33-year payback period, 38-year payback period for very low income applicants who can't afford the 33-year loan term. How much down payment is required? No down payment is typically required. Applicants with asset higher than the asset limits may be required to use a portion of those assets.
This is astonishing.
What is?
I mean, the whole program to me, just
It's a wonderful program.
1%?
Mhm.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Have you used it? this
I've
program?
used it twice. I've used it twice, and it takes about 65 days. It'll take a
To
bit.
get approval before you can look, or.
Right, because you're
how does that
you're
work?
dealing with other entities, you're dealing with, you're dealing with the government, like hardcore
You have to have
government.
the property first before you can even get approval, is that right?
Right. Well, you have to find a property you have to find a property that is eligible. So
And
once
then
you find a property,
You have to get the seller to agree to wait for that long period.
well, it's
for
65 days, I mean, like, 65 days as opposed to 45 days?
So you don't go here first, do your research,
Find
get
a property.
pre-qualified, you find a property first,
Yeah.
then go here.
I mean, you guys know if you have a client that's going to be approved. I mean, if you have a client that has a 450, I mean, come on. If you have a client that doesn't have a job or just got a job a month ago, you know what I'm saying? You can start them on the process. You can find them a lender that deals with USDA, but you have to find your property. You know, where do they want to be? But
Low
it's
income,
all-
there are no properties in the places you mentioned in Bucks County.
Oh, yeah, there is. Any
Yeah.
property, I mean, any property in those areas, you would be surprised, you'll be shocked at the properties that qualify. Also, USDA does have a rehab loan. If anyone tells you that they don't, then they don't know USDA loans.
Quakertown, Percy?
It could,
Could be.
yeah, most definitely. Yep. How long does the loan application take? Processing times vary depending on funding availability and program demand in the area in which an applicant is interested in buying the completeness of the application package. Again, I was told it's about 65 days. I think the first one I got done, it was just shy of 65 days. We were able to settle sooner. And the other one was probably, I don't know, maybe like 70 days. But that had even nothing to do with, I think it was just at that time, if I remember, I think it was around a holiday.
You're speaking of 65 days for
For
approval.
For closing. No,
Oh, for closing. I
closing,
thought
not
you were
approval.
speaking of
Oh, no,
approval. That's where my
I
confusion
apologize. No,
falls.
65 days for closing.
Okay.
Yeah, not your traditional, 30 or 45 days. Wow. I heard your lips go.
All right, so this is why I don't like USDA.
Go ahead, tell us.
Yeah, I'm gonna refer to Theresa if I get one.
Right? Teresa, the problem with the USDA
Okay.
is that there's no skin in the game, and they go from the mortgage, from the home buying process in a heartbeat, because they really do not have any skin. And that's my real problem with the USDA. So you could actually get USDA with full seller's assist and everything else like that. I wouldn't recommend that because they have no money in it.
And especially what's going on right now, nobody even knows about money sources, how it's gonna come down.
Hey, it worked beautiful for my two clients, so,
Oh, yeah.
it's,
I had one person use it and they were great, another person. We were all throughout the whole thing, we're at the end of the deal and they just set up.
Oh, the buyer.
Oh,
They
wow.
didn't
Skin in
really
the game
care
for the
because they
buyer.
only had $1,000 in it, so they're like, oh, well, whatever.
But the good thing is you learned about it, right? I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I've learned not to take a seller's assist. I tell them you can't get
With
seller's
USDA.
assist. Just because
It's not gonna happen,
I don't want them to think that they can walk away from the deal for no reason.
yeah.
So, that's the way I roll, because I get burnt once, that's all I do.
Yeah.
So,
so we learned Joel got burnt.
Joel Pepper. Joel Pepper.
Okay, so that was a direct loan, and then we have the guarantee loan. The guarantee loan is a bit higher as far as income level. You can go on their website and you can get all that information. Again, it is a wonderful, wonderful program. Let me see. If you look in your packet, I do have in there for the guaranteed loan. The income requirements.
Oh, I see, different order.
And they're all over. It's all over PA, the different counties. But it's quite, I think it's quite generous. If you look at like Allentown, Bethlehem, if you have, let's say, a family of four, your income could be $84,300. I think it's incredible. But again, go to their website. It's user-friendly. I think it's a lot of fun to go in there and just read through everything that they have to offer. There's even winterization programs on there that interest-free, that they'll loan you the money to winterize your property. But just make sure it has .gov at the end. And then we have the City Lift program. Joel, have you ever dealt with the City Lift program?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
We had someone give us an offer, I think it said on our listing on Foster, using the city, but
Okay. So the City Live program is just in Philadelphia. Help may be at hand for a limited time. If eligible, you may receive $15,000 for down payment assistance for the purchase of a primary owner-occupied residence in the city of Philadelphia. Program is available if you are approved for home financing and your household income is equal to or less than 120% of the area median income. Whether this is your first home or you are ready to buy again. And there are a number of home buyer education requirements that must be completed prior to the home purchase. So the City Lift program and also the Bucks County Housing Group, their grant, you need to do some home buyers education courses, which again, I don't think it's a bad deal if you're going to get that money to purchase that house. If you look at the first page, City Lift program, City Lift down payment assistance program, you can get up to $15,000 down. Program repayment requirement, 0% interest rate. Program is forgivable 20% each year for 5 years. So at the end of that 5 years, you don't owe anything. You stayed in Philadelphia. They want to build the area up. They want to encourage people to move into the city. Just what the name says, City Lift. Lift the city up. Prorated balance due is repayable. The property is sold, refinanced, foreclosed, not owner occupied as the primary residence, or transfer title within the first 5 years. The only repayment trigger exception is the refinance of the first mortgage to a lower interest rate. No cash out is allowed for a refinance loan, so you can't take out, you can't do that home equity loan. You can refinance as long as it's at a lower rate.
see, that's cool. I like that requirement.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
you
cool.
can't cash out, so you,
Right.
you know,
Darn.
it helps out too. Yeah,
not required to be a first-time home buyer. Current home ownership is currently own a home. It must be sold prior to closing. The current home cannot be rented or leased. Also, I think this is absolutely incredible. Single-family detached, 2 to 4 units and condos and PUDs. No manufactured housing, property must be owner occupied, primary residence, property must be in the city of Philadelphia, what?
Definition of manufactured housing.
What is it?
It's definition of manufactured housing.
Well, I assume they're talking about mobile homes.
That's a nice assumption,
That's
but what do
right.
you consider a
Because
module
mobile
home that they
homes-
put in the city, actually?
Mobile homes are, I had a floor call last week. She said that Fannie Mae, that she was working with Fannie Mae, she was going to Fannie Mae, she wanted to buy this trailer, and I said, they're going to finance? There's only certain companies that'll finance mobile homes, as we all know, to our horror. There's only certain companies that'll finance, and there's the criteria that mobile home has to meet. It can't be any older, I think, than, was it 14 years or whatever. And the interest rate is so high. So I did some research, because she wanted to see this property at, I think it was 56,000. She wanted to see this property, and I did reach out to someone, and they said they will not finance a modular home if it's on a property that's leased, and most mobile home parks are. You just
Yeah,
lease
yeah,
the
yeah.
ground. So that's why they would finance a mobile home if it was on its own plot, but not where you're just renting the land. They wouldn't do that. So go ahead, Joel.
Right, but a manufactured home is also a home that's made in Lancaster County.
Right.
And they have to bring
And
it
bought
in
it.
there. So based off of this, and the city lift program, that wouldn't really work.
Well, I would have to call and ask them. I would have to ask them that.
I got just something that made me think of that.
Yeah. Joel always asks the questions that make you go,
And I can't help but wonder if manufacturing standards have absolutely changed over the years, and I remember this when I was new in the business, this rule. And maybe it's time for a change, I don't know, I'm totally ignorant on the topic, but, you know, maybe there should be financing, because maybe it's not so much of a risk as it once was.
Well, the thing, a manufactured home in my head and a mobile home, and they are calling mobile homes manufactured homes, which to me is like, a mobile home you buy with a title, you receive a title for it. You can go to John's Auto Tags and make that transaction.
Buckingham Springs.
Right. But it's just like a car. The minute you drive that car off the
Right.
lot, it starts to depreciate in value. It's pretty much the same thing with mobile homes. And I can see why they wouldn't want to finance that. I wouldn't want to finance it.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
You're absolutely right.
any word, anything to say?
Yeah, is there every house really manufactured? I'm moving on.
I agree with you.
There are exceptions to that, though. I remember a modular went up on Brownsville Road, not too far away from Eastern Dawn, a few years back. It was a great big huge colonial, and it was.
Oh, yeah, because like Joel was saying, they build them, they build them in Lancaster, and they bring them down, they put them together, and it's a home.
Mhm.
But the difference between that and something that's on wheels, that's really still on wheels, they just take the wheels off, completely different. To me, it's completely different. So, and again, you have the landlord education, or homeowner or landlord education is required. I think, let's go back to this property eligibility. I think that's huge, that you can use the city lift program to buy a home that has 2 to 4 units. You can live in one and rent out the other 3. I mean,
Right.
I think that's, I'm getting chills. I think that's incredible. I think it's incredible. Don't you think that's incredible?
What was that?
That you can buy someplace, that you can use this And family detached, 2 to 4 units. So basically, you can buy a duplex, triplex.
It's fabulous,
Yeah, that's wonderful.
but this is just the city center.
But you said you have to, let me just read. One of the criteria was how long you have to be there.
5 years. And every year, it's reduced 20%. So come on, winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Right.
You stay there 5 years. Then you move someplace else. Then you have 4 income-producing units. Crazy. To receive the down payment assistance, you must be approved for a first mortgage loan. I know that Meridian, and I did include in here, I also include down payment, the eligibility determination session, required document checklist, and I also included approved lenders. Wells Fargo, Bank of America.
But you didn't do that with Wells Fargo, I saw.
No, I said I went.
She did.
Wells
It
Fargo.
was just quieter.
Oh, so it's
Bank
fine.
of
Yes.
America.
She didn't retch quite as hard, but she said.
I did throw up a little bit in my mouth. But I've heard, I'm sorry, I want to take that back. I have heard from different people that Wells Fargo and Bank of America are becoming a little bit easier to use.
There's your disclaimer. Yeah, I just had a loan where they did the two-step shuffle on the client, and we had to run around and get a mortgage quick.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Which one?
Which one am I? Oh,
Which
he's
one?
move it mortgage, and
Yep.
we're able to close it in a week, but my whole thing is that what they promised her prior to LE, they said they was pay closing costs. And then LE comes out, but they're writing, filling out their application, so no one's paying attention.
Right.
And it wasn't until right for the loan that they actually found out that everything they told them was a lie. So, and that's the worst thing to do to me.
I've been seeing some lenders saying yes and then working their way, then shuffling back.
Right.
You know, just to get that, oh, yes, we can do it, and then shuffling their way back. Meridian Bank. I know a lot of people use Meridian just for this City Lift program, so they do have a lot of experience with that. But anyway, there is a list of approved lenders. You also have
Which is your favorite?
Meridian. Meridian is, now I've never used the City Lift program, but I know a lot of people have used Meridian. And I want to give a disclaimer since it's being taped, I received nothing for saying.
Where's that list? What page is that list on?
It is second from, oh wait, I'm sorry, bless you,
Thank you.
3rd page from the back.
Mine's on the last page.
I'm sorry, I let you down again.
You did.
Oh, you know why? Because this was the original and everything was Debbie Green, printed everything, two-sided. So it's Debbie Green's fault.
So out of these, I would recommend looking at the smaller banks like Customer, Huntington Valley Bank, Meridian, of course.
Huntington Valley is another one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where's Great Oak Mortgage? That's a new one.
Supreme Lending.
I have,
No, but Joel is absolutely right. Try the smaller banks. You seem to get more,
Well, there's a
more
dog.
hand-holding and all that good stuff. So,
All right, for where? Okay, I'm not that interested, thanks, bye.
But any thoughts, questions?
I just want to share something.
Get, share away.
Okay, I found that I'm working with a first-time home buyer right now that I put through Bucks County, and Sherry Pace, who was so helpful. And much to my shock, Sherry placed these people with a lender before she even talked to me, by the way. But Fulton Bank
Yes.
has this incredible program. It sounds too good to be true, but it really does exist. They have, it's called the Homebuyer Advantage Plus program.
Okay.
And it's a program, I'll just mention the one big thing, is there's no PMI. Not
Wow.
upfront and not monthly, which makes a huge difference in this area. You've got a $200,000 buyer. And the second thing is they have 2 grant programs, out and out, give people the money. It's called, the first one's $5,000, it's called the First Front Door Program.
Right, first front door, yes.
And then the Closing Cost Assistance Program, CCAP, for an additional potential $2,500.
Can you get them both together, or?
You can get both of them, you can get all 3, but you have to apply through Fulton Bank, which is and I asked, where's this money coming from? It's coming from the Bank of Pittsburgh. And the other thing is that they don't know for sure how much longer the funding will take place. It's just like, my people are going through it right now, they're waiting for final approval on the grant money. I was told 24 hours and it's been 2 weeks, over 2 weeks. So, but if you've got somebody that can't get, come up with the money for closing, this is, because the income requirements are kind of like the other programs you talked about, where the income limits are much higher than one would think they would be.
Yep.
Right.
So it's exciting, there's a lot of things out there. Again, keep in mind, Home Partners does exist, and
Have you used them beginning to end at this point?
excuse me, I have, but two of my clients, one is waiting because she had an operation, I'll just say that. And we're waiting probably but she's in the process and she's approved. Gail has had a number of successes.
Can I ask you a question? So someone had mentioned to me that they had concern about, after the year is up, the home appraising for the increase in price that they slap on it in the first year, let alone the second, third, fourth, or the fifth. Have you ever asked that question of them?
Well, they raise it, what, 5%?
So the house has to appreciate 5% in the first year.
5%, yes.
They just need to look at the national averages to feel
5%.
comfortable.
Well, the national average is 1 to 2%, so where are you coming on 5%?
The difference-
To me, this
Last
is the
year's
biggest
was
scam in
7.8.
the world.
For the
Well,
recession.
it's
Because-
made a lot of people happy.
Well, no, it has people.
Because when they buy a house, when you go through the process, and this was the second person, this was the big sticking point, when what they ask for is they ask for the low and the high in the area for comparables, and they have to come within $30,000 of each other. And they never give them the highest price, never. It always tends to be at the lower end.
Where's the low?
Right. So that's what it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any of that, but it has made a lot of people happy.
Well, short term, but until they find out they can't buy the house.
No. I mean,
It's impossible for in 2 years, a house to appreciate 10%. It's 5% a year appreciation you're looking at. And then in the third year, you're looking at 50% appreciation. Fourth year, 20% appreciation. They'll never buy the house.
Do you know if
She's
Gail has
had-
had any who have gone through the first year, bought the house? I'd be curious to talk
yes,
to them.
yes, talk about it. She actually had someone that was going through a divorce, had moved into that situation, and within 6 months after everything, I guess he figured everything out with the divorce and all that good stuff, actually paid that 6 month and purchased the house, bought outright.
Yeah,
do it before the first year, for the appreciation. That's
right,
So,
okay. Cool.
I like this program compared to doing your traditional lease purchase. You can ask Gail about the situation that we've had a few years ago with someone, a lease purchase. She put people into a house, I think it was like a 2 or 3 year term. They were able to buy the house at the end of that term. They did everything that they had to, secure the mortgage, and the house didn't appraise. So there was a big hoo-ha with that. But also they had been paying extra money. So let's say it was 1,000, they were paying 200, and 200 of that,
Just
you know,
being
there-
held for.
was being held. If you can't buy, then there goes that 200.
Yeah, I had a, that was it, the national statistics, at least to own,
Mhm.
is, 1 out of 10. So,
Actually make it happen?
yes, he goes, so you charge extra money,
Wow.
so then
Yeah,
that
but
10
keep
people.
in mind Home Partners first, last, and 1 month security. So if they're going to go and rent someplace, they're going to go and rent
They're gonna do it
someplace.
anyway.
Right, so,
That's a lot of money, yeah.
so
To
there
not have any
is,
potential return down the road to make a decision about.
right,
And you get all your money back if you walk, so.
exactly, yes.
That would be bad.
Donna, can I ask you a question? The Fulton Bank one that you mentioned, did Sherry suggest that because she couldn't help that person with the,
No.
No.
She's all for the buyer.
Right.
And she thought that in their personal situation.
that would be better?
That would be the
This
best.
would be, she
Cool.
really wanted to see.
And
that.
that's
So it was just
why-
options, it was
And I
options.
really do appreciate
Nice.
her.
And that's why
Goodwill.
Sherry is
Yeah, I've talked to her a
absolutely
few times.
wonderful.
The only thing that felt uncomfortable to me is she didn't come to me first, and I found out about it 60 seconds before they were ready to walk through the front door. But so, I know that now, I know that if I send a client to her, that when she does her counseling session, the 4-hour thing, that may happen, and that's okay. It's a busy time of year and all
Well,
that.
if you
I adjust it.
send a nice email to her and just ask her, please keep me in the loop,
Oh, absolutely.
she will. I mean,
She's very well grounded. She
Yeah.
makes some funny comments on my Facebook page that I just like, I just say, this is Sherry Pace, because I'll start making jokes about mysterious clients I have,
Yeah.
and she'll just jump right into the next and
Yeah.
find about the clients.
She is
too.
a lovely lady who enjoys her job. She enjoys helping people, and it's obvious. It's obvious, and she has a tough job.
Right,
She has a tough job. She loves helping people.
Yeah, cool.
So,
all right.
so remember USDA.gov. Even though Joel does not like USDA.
I don't like
Dot
anything-
gov.
I don't like anything at 100%.
I don't
You
want to
had
have
a
to learn about
50%
it anymore.
win.
Huh?
You had 50% win. with the-
I don't
you
like,
said you had
I don't
one
like
went
the
well,
idea,
one
it's,
didn't.
it's the attitude that they get. There's an attitude out there.
Joel,
that-
but you have an attitude all the time. We love you.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I'm not the government. No, my whole thing is that I believe everybody needs some skin in the game.
You're
So they could actually buy a house, 100% financing, with a full seller's assist, and not get it done, pay it done. That's no skin, and that's fine. Now, if they go to USDA, I tell them they're not allowed to get a seller's assist. I just tell them, I said, you can't do it. Because I'll be damned if I see another 106% mortgage LTV. And that's just a personal thing, because they need something in. These freaking losers are still right, as I understand.
And that's why we love you, Joel.
Yes.
Now, if I don't find a buyer to utilize all these programs, like within the next month or two, then I'm gonna forget everything I learned.
Oh,
That's why I keep coming back.
Yeah,
That's why I keep coming back to the
Oh,
clients.
with my story, even goes a step further. So
Go
they
ahead.
didn't buy the house, they walked from the deal. Well, the sellers already moved out. House ended up going to foreclosure
Oh,
because they couldn't sell it.
They were just lousy people. They had nothing to do with
I'm not saying the
loan.
program, but
They're
that's,
just-
that should be a litmus test.
I had a buyer conventional, very well qualified, showed her house, she had to be in Ben Salem, showed her this house, she loved it, loved it, loved it, and it was owned by another realtor. They wanted to move in, they wanted to do their 30-day, we want to move in, and this realtor and her husband scrambled to find a place because my buyer was so well qualified. So first deposit was $2,500, we had our inspection, and it was a day before we would give the second deposit. She called me very excited that she had found the house of her dreams. I said, what do you mean you found the house of your dreams? She goes, I did, we just went by and it was a for sale by owner.
Oh, no.
And would I represent her? I said, we're under contract. Do you realize that you'll lose your deposit? And she basically said she didn't care.
Wow.
I
Those
felt
poor
like,
people.
and she wanted me to do the paperwork, and I told her, no, I would not. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't be a part of that.
Another sad story to add to the.
I couldn't be a part of it. She totally screwed those people over. It was another realtor, and I had to make that phone call. And they had every right to keep that $2,500. They didn't.
Did they do it, they didn't do anything more than that though, or attempt to do anything more than that?
No.
Wow.
Oh.
And then 3 years later, the woman died.
So the
Karma.
it's a good ending of the story then.
You should have led with that. This is gonna end well. She dies in the end, but.
It's sad. That totally blew my
Wow.
doors off. Blew my doors off. But anyway,
Thanks, Theresa.
I wish
Appreciate
it
it.
was a market where we didn't have to know about all this.
I know. Why people dying?
It was so
happens, Donna.
great, and everybody had a lot of money way back